Welcome back. Let's design a beautiful left menu according to the material design guidelines. Start with a copy of the previous screen, though you're gonna have to delete just about everything. Only the status bar is useful. So we're gonna build this menu from scratch. If you're not familiar with the left menu, it's what you get when you click on the hamburger menu. It's how you get to your settings, your payment methods, and so on. Let's start with the rectangle for the top area. This needs to be 720 by 288. Why 288 pixels? That's the standard. 144 dp doubled. Now we're gonna make it orange, though this can be a gradient or even a photo. That's why I actually like this layout, even though it's from Google Material Design 2. Okay, place it correctly, and after that, let's place the logo above it. Now the logo could be replaced by an avatar. And again, that's a nice feature of the left menu. It makes it more interesting. But here's the thing about the logo, we don't want the text, just the icon. Now we could potentially create a Boolean property, but let's keep it simple. From the resources frame, just drag the icon outside. As you can see, this is a standalone vector, no component, nothing. This is totally fine. Bring it into a new screen, and we're gonna resize it. I think 125 by 125 is just right for this specific rectangle. And that's because it's gonna leave us enough room to add a few details like the user's name and his email address. Now you may ask, Chris, could we use an auto layout here? 100%, of course. Now, do we need to add an auto layout? No, not really. So that's why I'm gonna keep it simple. Place the logo 32 pixels from the left side, and you can use the X field for that. Or you could potentially just hold the Alt key and measure things out, then tap your arrow keys and that's fine. Now the distance from the top doesn't matter at this specific moment. Okay, underneath, let's write my name, Chris Barron. In terms of styling, smaller title should be fine. Left align it with the icon and leave about 10 pixels from it, give or take of course. Finally, the email address. chrisbarron@yahoo.com. That's not my real email, so please don't use it. Actually, don't email me in general. Use the platform to get help fast, or of course, the Discord server. I'm always on there. Okay, this should be shown in the body style, but pure white. And with all three of these items selected, we can now move them up or down to place them in the center of the orange rectangle. Now again, could we use an auto layout? Sure, of course, but I'm fine with it as it stands. Moving on down, we're gonna need quite a few icons and text layouts. Now, the background itself needs to be pure white though. Select the frame and change the fill back to pure white. One thing I didn't mention is the fact that the left menu is actually 2/3 the width of the screen. But we went full width because it doesn't have any impact at the moment, so we can continue as it is. Okay, now it's time for some icons. I already have something prepared. These are from flaticon.com. I spent quite a lot of time looking for them. You have them attached, and they're also numbered from the top to the bottom, so you can have an easier time with it. Please, don't use them for commercial purposes though. You have them just so you can work along. If you want to use them for your own projects, you have to pay for them. Okay, now when you drag in lots of icons inside, you may have some issues with them. For example, if I try to select the first 5 of them, look what happens. The 5th icon isn't being selected right now. I have to make a much bigger box to grab it. So this can be a bit frustrating. So to have an easier time with them, I suggest you do this. So once you manage to select all 5 of them through a box selection, please use Shift A. Then change the layout mode from horizontal, the default in this case, to vertical. Now, one thing that's left is to set the distance. I'm gonna say about 60 or something like that. And that's because we want to avoid accidental clicks. So we have to be generous with our spacing. Oh, of course, always center the icons. This is an absolute must. You may be tempted to left align them, but please go with center. You can do that by clicking here. Okay, in terms of empty space, 32 pixels as before, with staying consistent. Feel free to use the X field while we have the auto layout set up. The great thing about it is that you can always remove the auto layout, just click here on the minus and basically we're done with it. Now, by default, they're going to be grouped, but no worries, just right click and choose ungroup. Now, why would you want to do that? Because we want to add some text layers and we might have a hard time aligning them correctly if they're grouped together. Okay, now let me add the first item, my orders, or just orders in general. Okay, I want this shown in the label style. So that means Nunito 30 bold. If you don't have it, please set it up as a text style. Okay, as for the color, blue is totally fine. Please align it vertically, and Figma should help you out with those red lines. But here's the problem, the icons are not inside this screen. The screen is called frame 40, but the icons themselves are much higher up. Basically, I dragged them inside Figma, but I probably didn't have frame 40 selected, so Figma didn't place them inside it. No worries, select all of them and drag them into frame 40. That's gonna fix it. Okay, this is pretty good, awesome. I'm gonna fast forward while I do all the other ones. In order, we're gonna have the following. So the first one, my orders, then information, addresses or address, payment methods, and contact us. These icons are nice and elegant, but they're fairly serious. You could look for ones that are a bit more interesting, maybe a bit more playful. Now, colored ones might be tempting, but you have to make sure that they don't make the app look childish, you know? Because the font is already on the playful side, so you have to make sure that you stay away from that. Going to kid-friendly territory might be dangerous. You want to stay semi-professional. Okay, this is looking good. Let's do at the bottom, we're gonna have a logout button. So let's make it happen. So add another text layer and we're gonna do something like this. The text itself, it's nothing special. We're gonna have a separate icon for it. Now, just as a side note, we could have used a few auto layouts here and there. So we could adjust the spacing between the icons and the text as well as between each row. But you know what? Actually, I'm gonna let you handle that because it should be fairly easy to do. Okay, now to finish off the design, let's separate the logout area by adding a divider. So get the line tool, hotkey L, and draw one out. 720 with a single pixel for the thickness. Now choose the body gray color, you should have it saved as a colored style, and I think overall we're good to go. Here's the thing, this is a modern, clean and professional left menu. We could do something a bit more interesting, but again, I'm gonna leave you to it because I do want to see your version and I want to give you a lot of options. So again, you're gonna have to come up with something a bit more interesting. For now, we can continue.